Concussion, the invisible injury. No one sees the heartache, the frustration, the effort it takes to protect our relationship every day. We are Dean and Lori. Join us on the Concussion Code, and we will help you learn to love again. Welcome back to the Concussion Code. This invisible injury called concussion is one that changes every day. There's something new every day. There's something frustrating every day. And there's a moment that is questioned every day. Dean and I know that you're going through things that you've never gone through before, that you're experiencing character traits that you've perhaps never witnessed. That determined husband of your husband has now perhaps come across as a bit demanding. Maybe that motivated man has become more critical of your motivation. I talk from experience, and I'm trying to share what's very real. Dean and I have chosen to be very open, very vulnerable, and to be very, very honest with you because we know that we had an unfair advantage. We know that we come from a professional speaking background, that with me being a therapist and Dean being a leader amongst men, that he has more character, more discipline, and more heart than most. Dean is a man that I would follow into any war anytime, but we never dreamt that the war would come to us. We never dreamt that the challenges that we've been going through over the last 25, 26 months would be this real, that would cut to the core the way that it has, that it would feel at times that a knife had gone through my heart. And I'm sure that there's times that he questioned if he could make it through what was going on for us. We certainly have seen impact at every level. We've seen impact in our capacity to work, our capacity to love, our capacity to be a friend. To be honest, many of our friends have just wondered what happened to us. Where did we go? When you're in survival mode, you're not able to do some of those things that we used to do. And Dean and I moved into survival mode. We were looking at our basic security, our basic livelihood, our basic relationship. And to be honest, Dean was fighting for his life. He was fighting for his courage. He was fighting for his family, and he was fighting for our future. The effort that it took to watch him maneuver a day was exhausting to me as a caregiver, just watching him. And I wasn't a caregiver in that way. I was more of a cheerleader because he's a very capable, competent man who had to work hard to get to the place that he could just even water the plants for that day. So I'm bringing to you today a scenario that was very real to us, a scenario that just doesn't even seem possible. This particular scenario actually is around the flowers. I thought it was going to be about something else, but as I sit here thinking about the very beginning, I just remember Dean being so excited that he had been able to water all 5 of our plants. So instead of a man who can usually run a multi-million-dollar business that has his phone going, his truck going, he's got people lined up waiting to talk to him, he's got numbers going through his head, he has people that he still remembers to buy flowers for, and kids that he still remembers to phone, grandkids that he sends pictures to. In the midst of a man that's who he really is, was excited because he finally was able to water the 5 sets of plants around our home.
I guess when I look back at it and where we were at that time, it is a feeling of frustration. I think that was the overwhelming feeling I had, was just totally frustrated because I was a man that could do many, many things on any given day. Physically, I was strong. Emotionally, I was strong. And now I'm vulnerable. And that's the word that just kept going around. Boy, am I ever vulnerable. I remember going to physio for the very first time and them doing tests on me, and I was absolutely a weakling. I couldn't do anything. It was unbelievably embarrassing for me to be in a place where I couldn't stand on one leg. I could hardly stand on 2 legs. And it was, when they asked me to close my eyes and stand on one leg, I said, if I do that, I'm going to fall over. So they were there to grab you. So you're feeling totally hopeless, totally useless. And that is a very, very frustrating place when you're used to being able to do basically whatever you want to do it, when you want to do it. And I never thought I would have those feelings. I can't say that I felt sorry for myself, but I was so unbelievably frustrated. I remember when I first started to do things, and like Lori said, we had 5 planters outside our front door, and I could water, the first day, I barely got one of them. It would take me a whole week to water those 5 flower planters. And I just couldn't believe that I couldn't do that littlest of things. So, I think for me, that was, and that went on, like I'm not talking about going on for a day or two. I'm talking about it going on for weeks and weeks, and going to physio every day for about 45 minutes, and just realizing that it's going to take, like I thought at that time, forever to get back to any kind of normal. And so when I look back at that was really, really, really not who I was, but it was my reality at the time. So as you do that, realizing, I think the biggest thing you're going to have to realize if you're going through this is you're going to have to cut yourself a lot of slack. You're going to have to be really patient with yourself. Again, there's a physical side and there's the emotional side, and they both kind of go hand in hand.
Before we go any deeper into our journey, I want to take a moment to remind you to subscribe to our channel. This is an amazing journey of discovery. We are real people sharing real challenges, so subscribe and don't miss out on our real solutions. Click now.
The physical side, I did that every day, 45 minutes every day with my physio. I would go see my doctor every 2 weeks and kind of get a little update where I'm at, and he would get the physio reports and we'd talk about them and come up with some other game plans as to what may be available. But I just want to encourage you that you're going to be okay, and you're going to just have to be okay with sleeping for a half an hour at a time, and you're going to have to be okay with having fog. Your brain is basically all in fog. Everything is kind of muted. Nothing really comes through clear. And I couldn't read because it hurt when I read, but I'd watch TV for a few minutes, and I just had no interest in anything for any sustained amount of time. Like the doctor, my doctor's name is Dr. Lim, would say, Dean, have you tried walking? I said, yeah, I walk about down to the end of my driveway and back, and I'm done. Like I have to lay down for half an hour just wore out. And but at least I did that. I did everything that I could do. I did for as long as I could do it. And emotionally, like Lori said earlier, we were not in a good spot, but understandably, and thank goodness she had enough patience to put up with my frustrations. And it was nothing about her, it was nothing about the kids or the grandkids or anything. It was all about me and my frustrations with myself and how it wore on everybody else.
At 17 weeks post-injury, Dean was still sick to his stomach. He was still had no balance. He tested very weak. He had one leg that dragged behind him. His neck stuck out and to the left. Our world looked like it was going to be different forever. We will share with you who came on to our team to help us change everything in one of our next episodes. But today what I really want to tell you is that we can't promise you that you're going to get better. We can't promise you that this is going to be a 25-month or a 17-month or a 5-week, 10-week. We can't promise you any of those things. All that we can do is tell you that you need to take time. You need to take time to smell the flowers. You need to appreciate what you have and what you still can do. You have to do what you do to the best of your ability and recognize that you may be tired and fatigue may set in. So take a rest, take a break. It's not anything that you're doing on purpose. Your brain is shutting down, trying to heal. But if we're on the outside looking in, thinking that you're not working hard enough, that if you tried harder, you could do more, if you followed instructions better, it would go faster. I want to tell you, as the wife that was on the outside looking in to a husband who is extremely disciplined, there is nothing more that he could do to move it forward faster than what he was doing. He was very cognizant of nutritional supplements. He was very cognizant of innovative exercises, innovative team members. He was willing to do whatever it took, and there was nothing more he could do. Time was required, and some of these products and processes and professionals, they needed time to see how his brain would respond. And as a wife, I needed to give him that time. So we've learned to stop and smell the flowers. We've learned to budget breaks amongst things. We've learned to shut our world down earlier at night, typically. We've learned to have a nap before we have a big evening. We've learned a lot of things that are just management strategies, and we plan on sharing all of those with you in our post-concussion playbook, in these podcasts, in all of the coaching and teaching that we've written and put together. We will share everything with you. What we promise you is we will share the truth. We will share who we are and what we've had to go through so that you guys can remember who you are and that you can make it through whatever challenge is put before you. Just take time, be kind to one another, choose not to hurt one another, and remember that your husband is trying to heal from the inside out. He can't do more than he's already doing. And to be honest, the relationship is not the first priority. He has to first take care of basics. And then he was more than willing. But I needed to do this quietly, respectfully, and in perfect timing so that he knew I wasn't imposing, I wasn't demanding, and that I wasn't allowing him to bully me. I will show you how to do all of those things respectfully, because I did have to hold my ground. I did have to make sure that we both were looking at those flowers and appreciating that he was still here, that he survived a horrific accident, and that he was still here to water those flowers, and that we could have our photo taken in front of those flowers, and that we could shoot some of these videos beside those flowers. And so now that's what those flowers mean to me, is that my husband survived and that I've been blessed to get him back. And I know how hard he's had to work to come back to me. I know how hard he has to work when he's tired. And we've learned how to communicate honestly and respectfully so that he can help bring me in to his challenges instead of pushing me away from those challenges. So Dean and I want you to stop and smell the flowers. Be grateful for what you do have. Take a good look at what you're doing. And if there's anything that we've done that helps you, that guides you in a direction that may serve you, we offer it up to you. But at the same time, our biggest message to you is that be grateful. Be grateful that you have a chance to love again. We are Dean and Lori on the Concussion Code. Till next time.